Man, it's been a long decade. Oh, God, the 2010s, man. A lot of shit happened in the 2010s. And one thing that happens every year is music comes out. Some good, some bad, some in the middle. And now would be a great time to introduce a new series which I'm going to be calling REMreCAPS, where I recap things that I experienced essentially. And today we're going to be recapping 2010's music. Now this is probably the hardest list I've ever had to make because you're sorting out a whole decade worth of music. So I'm going to have to go through a few disclaimers before I start going through the list. First of all, because certain songs are more popular than others, I had to organize the list in a certain way. So for every year I'm going to have a popular pick, a personal pick, and an underrated pick. That way each kind of song can get some recognition, because otherwise the popular picks will always get picked and certain underrated songs may not get the recognition they deserve. On top of that, I'll be picking a favorite album, and then I'll have honorable mentions for albums and then honorable mentions for songs. Also, another disclaimer, I may not mention a certain song as an honorable mention if I've already mentioned the album, because it's implied that I like the song, I mentioned the album name. I can't be here all day. There's so many songs that I like, it's a whole decade worth of content, and I need to save the honorable mention slot for songs that I liked that may not be from albums that I liked. Another disclaimer is that I'm going to be speeding through this thing. Like, initially I wanted this to be kind of more of a casual discussion where I can like just go through and describe why I like each song, etc, etc, but honestly I didn't think I liked that much music from the last decade. But going through the list, it was so much shit that I loved and I was getting like serious memories. I spent hours upon hours finalizing this list, and I still feel like I've missed out on things, and it's just like I can't dwell on all the songs the way I wanted to, so it's gonna be a bit rushed at times, and I might take time to dwell on certain things that really meant the most to me, like certain albums and whatnot, but overall expect it to be quick. And the final disclaimer is that just remember that music is very subjective. You know, if I was to write this whole list again a month from now, I'm sure certain songs would change position. I want people to understand that the goal here is really just to reminisce about good music instead of dwelling on the, oh, you picked that song over that song, and really, that song was just an honorable mention instead of a popular pick or an underrated pick, or you missed out on, you know what I mean? Like, try and enjoy. We're here to respect 2010's music. If I missed a song that you like or an album that you like, you can leave a comment below telling me about it, you know, civil way, of course. And there's definitely some things that I know that people liked that I would have or should have listened to that I didn't get around to listening to. So, you know, it's very hard to do this all in one video, so just please bear with me. But without further ado, we're gonna get into the shit. We're going year by year, of course, starting with the beginning, 2010. So I know I was supposed to pick one song for each of these picks, but realistically 2010 was a beast. Like, I firmly believe that at the end of a decade people just hold off on certain releases because they don't want it to be like considered old decade music. They hold off on their good music and then start releasing it at the beginning of the next decade. So 2010 is full of too many good songs, so I'm gonna have to mention multiple picks. For popular pick, we got Miss Me, Over, and Find Your Love by Drake. Drake was killing it in 2010. He was reaching his pinnacle. Around 2009 to 2011, that was like his peak. Another popular pick is No Love by Eminem and Lil Wayne. Highly amazing song. Arguably one of Eminem's best verses. And then we got Runaway and Blame Game by Kanye West. Come on. If you remember the era of 2010, oh, Kanye was killing it. Oh, God, Kanye, man. He was at his prime. He was in his prime. Personal pick. Again, multiple songs for this year, I'm sorry. Devil in a New Dress and Gorgeous by Kanye West. Oh, God, I love those songs. Devil in a New Dress, one of my favorite Kanye songs, period. And 6 Foot 7 Foot by Lil Wayne featuring Corey Guns. Oh, one of Lil Wayne's best tracks lyrically. Lil Wayne is the king of like all these like similes and punchlines, and 6 Foot 7 Foot was just where it hit its pinnacle. And the music video had like a separate scene for every individual punchline. Wayne was killing it. Oh, God. And finally, for underrated pick, we got Roman's Revenge by Nicki Minaj featuring Eminem. This is the first song I actually heard by Nicki Minaj, but nostalgia aside, I still think that this is Nicki Minaj's best song, at least lyrically. I feel like she demonstrated her lyrical skill the best here. I know some people will say Monster, but I love that verse, but I have to say Roman's Revenge just had more oomph to it, more drive, you know, like she just went off. Apparently it's this to Lil Kim or something, but you know. Favorite album of 2010. Now, if you know me and you know the kind of music I listen to, you're expecting it to be one particular album. I'm sorry to say that it's not that album. It's actually Thank Me Later by Drake. Thank Me Later was just so hype when it came out. Like, Drake was still new. Like, he had So Far Gone, but Thank Me Later was just riddled with bangers upon bangers upon bangers. Like the ones I already mentioned, like Miss Me, Over, Find Your Love. But then you also had The Resistance, Unforgettable, you had Fancy, you had Fireworks, Karaoke. I'm about to mention the whole album if I keep going, so I'm just gonna stop there. And for honorable mention albums, we're gonna start this off obviously with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I know people wanted me to pick this as my favorite album, but Thank Me Later was just, I'm sorry, but this is still a masterpiece of an album, don't get it twisted. It's still not my favorite Kanye album, but this was definitely his most ambitious project in terms of like the instrumentation. At least you already know what songs are on this album, the ones I already mentioned before. Like there's so many picks. Like I don't even have to dwell on this, you already know what it's about, so like yeah. We've also got Pink Friday by Nicki Minaj, which had Moment for Life, Blazing, Your Love, Super Bass, you know, big hits. Recovery by Eminem, which had songs like Not Afraid, On Fire. Teflon Don by Rick Ross, which was full of bangers to be honest, but my favorite one was definitely Aston Martin Music, and Blowing Money Fast as well, yeah. You had Discovery by Tiny Tempo, which had Written in the Stars, Pass Out, Miami to Ibiza. You had I'm Not a Human Being by Lil Wayne, which had With You featuring Drake. You had I'm Single, like oh god, so many bangers. Finally we got Doo-Wops and Hooligans by Bruno Mars, because Bruno Mars was killing it in 2010. I think he came out like late 09, early 2010, and with this album he had like Just the Way You Are, Grenade, The Lazy Song, which the Lazy Song had an amazing music video for the record. For the honorable mentions of songs, we got Black and Yellow, Wiz Khalifa. You know what it is. Okay, yellow, everything I do it big. Oh shit, okay. Loser Like Me and Light Up the World by Glee Cast, which Glee usually do covers, but those were two original songs that they did that I really loved, so I'm adding those to the list. I'm not gonna add all the covers they did because they did some amazing covers, but they are covers. How many times can I say covers? Rolling in the Deep by Adele, and the Glee cover version was also really good. I know I said I wasn't gonna bring up covers, but they did something really different with their version, so it's not just a complete copy of the original. They did a whole different spin on the instrumentation, so that's why I'm including it for that. One exception. Not gonna go through all of them because you can see them on the screen. Overall, 2010 was a very solid year. One of my favorite years of the decade when it comes to music. Alright, on to 2011. For popular pick, we got Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier and Kimbra. Classic song, let's be real. Personal pick, Niggas in Paris, ball so hard, motherfuckers wanna find. Like this song was hype. Like this song, and even the ending part where it said, "Don't let me get in my zone." Someone made a game just with Kanye's face on it and a zone, and you had to play it and make sure that Kanye couldn't get into the zone. Oh god, that was a hype song when that came out. It was just insane. Underrated pick, John by Lil Wayne featuring Rick Ross, which is actually based off a song that Rick Ross did in his album Teflon Don. So he brought Rick Ross on for like the reimagining of the song. It was amazing. Favorite album, Watch the Throne, obviously. This is probably my favorite Kanye project. It's really hard to rank Kanye projects, but this was like, oh my god. You took like Kanye's production was on point, and you combine it with Jay-Z, and they balanced each other out so well. And the instrumentation of this album, there's so much hype shit on this project that no album of that year could have competed. Even the first honorable mention that I'm about to mention, which is Take Care, which is arguably Drake's best project too, but these days I'd be kind of leaning more towards Thank Me Later than Take Care, but either way, Take Care is an amazing project and you can't deny that. You got songs like Headlines, one of Drake's best songs, Lord Knows, one of Drake's most underrated songs, with an amazing feature by Rick Ross. The Motto, which spawned the whole YOLO thing, and some guy died in a car crash because he was speeding because he said YOLO, and you know, the influence of that was just huge. Like YOLO was crazy. Hell Yeah Fucking Right, obviously. I love Lil Wayne Drake collabs, by the way. True Love, The Real. Like, see, I'm about to list the whole album. See, I don't want to list the whole. You get it. Take Care is a masterpiece. We also got The Carter 4. A lot of people thought this was a bad album or a mediocre album. I honestly preferred it to Carter 5, which, I mean, this is obviously in retrospect because 5 hasn't come out yet. We're in 2011, but you know what I mean. People thought 5 was better than 4. I disagree. I think 4 was far better than 5. We had How to Love. We had Nightmares from the Bottom, obviously 6 Foot 7 Foot, which actually came out in 2010, which I already mentioned. And again, I could keep going, but it's just so many in there. Section 80 by Kendrick, which has songs like ADHD, Hold Up, Hold Up, Hold Up. And then you got The Spiteful Charm, which is actually the first song I heard from Kendrick. I recognized it because the song that it was sampling was a song that was used in the Assassin's Creed Revelations trailer, which, for the record, is probably the coolest game trailer in the history of gaming. So there's that. We got the album Ambition by Wale, which has songs like Ambition by Wale and No Days Off, like another great album. And finally, Mac and Devin Go to High School, which is actually Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa playing characters. They made like a whole weed movie, and that was like the soundtrack to the movie. Had some great songs on it, like Young and Wild and Free, I Get Lifted. There's plenty of songs on there. And for the honorable mention songs, oh, we got so many. Like Party Rock Anthem, that was gonna be my popular pick initially, and then I remembered somebody that I used to know, and I was like, somebody I used to know is just a bit more of a masterpiece in terms of instrumentation, the way the whole thing comes together. I'm On One by DJ Khaled, and by DJ Khaled I mean his name was on it, but he's not actually the guy doing the main work on the song. You got Drake, you got Wayne, you got Ross. Hype as Fuck song, one of DJ Khaled's best works. Then you got Trust Issues by Drake, another underrated Drake song, highly underrated. It's based off the melody and the hook of I'm On One, which he sung, so he did his own thing with it afterwards. And overall, 2011 as a year of music was pretty amazing too, on similar levels to 2010. I don't know if it was as high as 2010, but it was, if not as high, it was close. But now let's take it on to 2012. For the popular pick, we had Gangnam Style by Psy. Come on, this was an obvious one. Like, obviously the song itself may not have been something that people would have listened to on its own if they just heard it, but coupled with Psy's charisma in the music video and just how crazy the video was and it coming together, because a good video can make a song sound even better, like real talk. It's the first YouTube video to hit 1 billion views. They even gave it a little like animation next to the view count when it hit 1 bill. It was crazy. For personal pick, we're going with Dreams and Nightmares, which is the intro to the album Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. Just listen to the song. Without a doubt, one of Meek Mill's best songs. For underrated pick, we got Cold by Kanye West. I used to listen to this shit all the time. It was hype as fuck. Someone made a fan music video that was so good that I actually thought it was legit, to be honest. Some of Kanye's like most hype bars were in here. Like his delivery was amazing. Like egotistical Kanye, you know what I mean? And for favorite album, we got Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick. And to this day, looking back, I feel like this is still my favorite Kendrick album. Like, I feel like this is when Kendrick really got on the map. Because he had some clout with Section 80, but when Good Kid came out, it was just like, yeah. Because he had like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, which was hype. He had Poetic Justice with Drake. He had, you know, my favorite song on the album, like Money Trees. Other hype songs like Backseat Freestyle, like it was just a very solid project. And for honorable mention albums, we got Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill, obviously. That has Amen on it with Drake. Polo and Shell Tops. Traumatized, which is another underrated Meek Mill song. We got It's My Nature by My Nature, or Miniature. Very underrated album, by the way. It's not even on Spotify. I think it's still on YouTube, but definitely an album that I would recommend. I'll start listing songs, but we'll be here forever, to be honest. I love every single song on that album. We got Cruel Summer by Good Music, which is like the Kanye collective and whatnot. The song I mentioned before, Cold, is on there. You've got Click, you got Mercy, you got I Don't Like Remix. Then we got God Forgives and I Don't by Rick Ross. Hype album. We had Amsterdam, Hold Me Back, Diced Pineapples, So Sophisticated. Oh, solid project. Oh, God. You got Finally Rich by Chief Keef, which had I Don't Like, Love Sosa, Hate Being Sober, and then we got Channel Orange, which, oh god, I love that album so much. That has Thinking About You, so that's enough said. And for honorable mentions songs, we got Fountain of Youth, which was Staley featuring like Rick Ross, Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Stay Scheming by Rick Ross, Kobe by Chief Keef, Fuck a Hater by Z Kizzy, underrated artist, by the way. And we got some Justin Bieber songs too. We diverse out here. I'll admit I used to hate on Justin Bieber just because everyone was doing it, but there's some good songs on the album he dropped in 2012. Overall, 2012 was another great year. I wouldn't put it as high as 2010 and 2011 because, I mean, Drake and Kanye dropping for those 2 years was just hype as fuck, but it was still a good year. Speaking of Drake, we move on to 2013, and the popular pick was Started From the Bottom because, come on, that shit was hype. the music video, the dude was running in the snow and like, oh shit, it was high. It was such a weird beat as well. Like you hear it like boom 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 boom. Oh shit, like that song was hype. That song was hype. Drake was killing it. Drake was, oh, he was killing it. For personal pick, we're going with Recovery by Justin Bieber. I know, right? Justin Bieber song, but it's not one of his most popular songs, but he was singing about like his situation with Selena Gomez because they used to date, and it was just a really hype song, and it sampled an OG track from the early 2000s by Craig David. If you're from the UK and you're around my age, you know Craig David. He dropped this song called Fill Me In, and this Justin Bieber song is based off that, and you just, oh, I love it. I love it. And for underrated pick, we got Control, which is a song that never really released officially because basically it had a sample in that the people wouldn't clear, so you couldn't put it on his album. The song is by Big Sean, by the way, featuring Kendrick Lamar and Jay Electronica. And Kendrick's verse really ruffled some feathers in the hip-hop community because he was calling out rappers. It was insane. But yeah, because of the sample, they couldn't put it out officially. And some people say maybe it was for the best because Kendrick's verse was better than Sean's, and Sean didn't want to get washed on the song. But I personally think that Sean's verse was still really good, even though Kendrick had the best verse. And Jay Electronica's verse, at first I kind of used to just skip it, but it's actually a decent verse. Overall, yeah, because that song never released officially and it was more of a leak, that's kind of what makes it underrated because people are going to have a harder time finding it now. For favorite album, we're going with Nothing Was the Same. Come on. Tuscan Leather, one of the greatest intros of all time. You got Connect, you got The Motion, you got Start From The Bottom, which I already mentioned. Hold On, We're Going Home. Worst Behavior. Oh, Worst Behavior. That shit was hype. Oh, shit. And for honorable mention albums, you got MMLP2, Marshall Mathers LP2 by Eminem. And that was an album that, along with Nothing Was the Same, or like the soundtrack of my 2013, you had Berserk on there. You had Rap God. Another one of my favorites was Legacy. There's so many good songs on that album. Eminem was still killing it then. It was probably not my favorite Eminem album. Obviously, Marshall Mathers LP, the original, is far superior. But still, at the time, it was good to have some new Eminem that was actually good and not like the shit he just dropped. I'm sorry. We also got Yeezus by Kanye. Not my favorite Kanye project, but you know, it had Bound 2, it had Blood on the Lease. There was some decent songs on it. You got Watching Movies with the Sound Off by Mac Miller, which just got songs like Euphoria. And my favorite on the album was Remember, which was talking about a friend that died. Overall, probably Mac Miller's best project, even though I haven't listened to every single thing that he's put out. But a lot of people say that it's his best project. And when I heard it, I was like, this is a masterpiece. So, you know, definitely check that out if you like Mac Miller. We got Because the Internet by Childish Gambino, another great project that had Sweatpants, which is a great song, and 3005. We got Born Sinner by J. Cole, which had songs like Born Sinner by J. Cole. And my favorite song on the album was Let Nas Down. Very hype song. Well, not hype. It was more like a introspective. Like the sample was hype. Yeah, there's really like jazzy like sample in there that just, you know, and he was rapping on it. And then the song was about him letting Nas down. Then Nas made a reply, and then someone compiled the two together. Oh, it was great. All right, ignore my sexy face for a second because I forgot to add one album. It's called The Dorm Room EP by Sully Breaks. He's a spoken word artist, and he's done some viral videos on YouTube like I Will Not Let an Exam Result Decide My Fate, Why I Hate School But Love Education, Parents Are the Hardest People to Please, etc. But my favorite songs on the album are actually Campus Love, which I was actually in the studio when he recorded, by the way, long story, and Pictures on My Phone. Either way, definitely another album I'd recommend. For honorable mentions, we got 5 AM in Toronto by Drake. Highly underrated Drake song. One of his best songs, period, if we're talking lyrically. Seriously. We got Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, which really broke the internet when it came out because of the music video. You got Mellow by Lil Snoop, rest in peace. You got Thugtown and American Pie by Sassion Dupree. Highly underrated artist, definitely check him out. Overall, 2013 was a solid year for music. To be honest, that year, at the time, I was only really listening to Nothing Was the Same and MMLP2, because those two albums carried the year for me. But yeah, also a good year. 2014 popular pick, we had Hot Nigga by Bobby Shmurda. Need I Say More? Shit was hype. He delivered lyrically, decent video. The hat, obviously people meme the fuck out of that. Personal pick, We Them Boys by Wiz Khalifa. I mean, that song was already hype as fuck when it came out, because I remember hearing it when it came out. But then when Etika like used it for Joy-Con Boys, that just took it to another level, and just, you know, man, And for underrated pick, we actually got 2 picks. The first one is Only One by Kanye West. He never put on any of his albums or anything, so it's just one of those songs where he was talking from the perspective of his mother, who's sadly passed away, about how her life is in heaven, and, you know, telling him to tell his daughter about her, and, you know, it was a very heartfelt song. And Paul McCartney was also playing instruments on it, and I think he did some harmonies as well. So a really underrated Kanye song. And the other underrated pick, oh my god, Stoicville by T-Pain is one of his best songs that no one knows about. One of the best rap songs I've ever heard that is so highly underrated. Like, if you listen to, oh my god, he's talking about how people were doubting him and didn't give a fuck, and when he made it, everyone was like, oh yeah, you know, like, it was, oh, it hit so many notes, like, you know what I mean, like mental notes, not like physical notes. He's not singing, he's rapping. Favorite album was 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole. I mean, come on, that's obvious. You had No Role Models, you had Wet Dreams, which is my favorite song on the album, Fire Squad, January 28th, arguably J. Cole's best album, real talk. Honorable mention albums would be Honest by Future, which contains songs like Honest by Future, and I Won, which is just another great song on the album. We also got The Pink Print by Nicki Minaj, which had Big Daddy, which I really love that song, I don't know why. And Truffle Butter, which was hype as fuck. That had Wayne and Drake on it. Shmurda She Wrote, which was actually an EP, but nonetheless it had Worldwide Nigga, Wipe the Case Away, Bobby Bitch, and also Hot Nigga, of course. And Hey Thanks a Lot Too by Quentin Miller, which is actually a mixtape, but nonetheless had HS17, had Cinematic, which was a song that a lot of people heard when we were getting into Quentin Miller in 2015, which I'll get into that later. Honorable mention songs, we got 0 to 100 The Catch Up by Drake, the OG version before they cut out the outro, because I think there was a copyright issue, they had to cut out the outro, so if it's not like 6 minutes long, it's not the OG version. Big Rich Town, 50 Cent featuring Joe, which is actually the theme song of Power. Money Shot by Currency featuring Mac Miller, and this has got one of the smoothest Mac Miller verses, period. Like, Mac Miller had just so much more swag than, say, Eminem. Like, Eminem is lyrically obviously superior, but his verse was just delivered here so beautifully. Like, oh god, Mac, rest in peace. You got Problem by Ariana Grande featuring Iggy Azalea, which is even better when you mute the Iggy Azalea part, to be honest. And then you got Fancy by Iggy Azalea and Charlie XCX, which the Iggy part wasn't too bad here. You know, the song was overall decent. Fight Night by Migos, still probably my favorite Migos song, to be honest. It was just hype. And overall, 2014, I think at this point of the decade was the slowest year of the decade for music that I personally like. Not to say it was a bad year, but there were definitely stronger years before that and stronger years after that. Speaking of after that, we're gonna get into 2015. Popular pick, Hotline Bling by Drake. I mean, we all saw the memes, the music video, like, shit was very hyped, so I love the song. Great song. Personal pick, Can I Live by Quentin Miller and Sassion Dupree. Honestly, one of my favorite songs, period. He's talking about how wishy-washy your life is, like, especially in your 20s, and you're trying to figure out how to, like, live and secure your, like, future and what you want to do and all that stuff, and it just really hits. It's got that mellow R&B kind of vibe to it as well. Sounds like it could have come out in the 90s, to be honest, but either way, I love that song. Underrated pick is Slut Freestyle by Cadet, rest in peace. Favorite album goes to Dark Sky Paradise by Big Sean, which I'm starting to say right now, that's a classic album. I mean, it's only been 5 years, but still. That has songs like All Your Fault, One Man Can Change the World, I Don't Fuck With You, you know, like, it's just so many picks. Honorable mention albums, if you're reading this, it's too late. That shit was hype as fuck when it came out. I almost put that as my favorite pick, although it's technically not an album, which made me want to lean more towards Dark Sky Paradise, but it is a really solid mixtape, to be honest. Know Yourself, Six God, Now and Forever, 6 PM in New York. Very solid project. Got a lot of plays back when I was in uni. Then you got Trap Soul by Bryson Tiller, which had songs like Don't, Sorry Not Sorry, and of course, Rambo. You got Hey Thanks a Lot 3 by Quentin Miller, which is still a mixtape, but nonetheless was an amazing mixtape. You had songs like Potential, Fleece, Deep. You had To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick, which everyone said this was his best album. I still think Good Kid, Mad City was better. I even prefer Section 80 to Pimp a Butterfly, real talk. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it was still a good album. It just was not as easy to get into, and I didn't think it was as good as the others. I mean, you could tell that a lot of efforts put into it, but it just sonically just was not my cup of tea as much as the others, you know. But it had some standout hits, like Alright was a hit, The Blacker the Berry was hype as fuck. Like, I love that song. Then we got Srem Life by Ray Sremmerd. This had some serious hits like No Type, No Flex Zone, My Ex. Then we got Dirty Sprite 2 or DS2 by Future, which has Where You At and Rich Sex and a bunch of other songs. This is probably when I first really started listening to Future, because I mean I heard him before, but I think DS2 is when I really got into him properly. We got What a Time to Be Alive, which is a mixtape by Drake and Future. I like pretty much all the songs on here, but obviously Jumpman was on there. Jersey, 30 for 30 freestyle. Then we got Bush by Snoop Dogg, which Snoop Dogg has got like a million fucking albums, and I don't know why I picked this one to listen to in full, because I never listened to any other Snoop album except like Doggy Style. But this one had California Roll with Stevie Wonder on the harmonica, Peaches and Cream, which is hype as fuck, and finally we got Compton by Dr. Dre. This one's an interesting one because there was a meme that he was supposed to drop an album called Detox for years and he never dropped it. Like, this from like the 2000s, and eventually he just said, well, the legend is too strong now. If I drop it and it's not that good, it's gonna be like all these years build up of talk about Detox, hyping up Detox and other people's songs. He didn't drop it, so he just said, I'm making a different album and I'm calling it Compton. So, you know, but it was still a good album nonetheless. Honorable mention songs, you got Charged Up, back-to-back freestyle by Drake, obviously the diss records. We also got Right Hand by Drake, which is another underrated Drake song, which kind of got lost in the Hotline Bling hype, but it's still a good song. Smoke Chambers by Wiz Khalifa, one of Wiz Khalifa's best songs, so underrated. I think everyone should give that song a listen if they're a Wiz Khalifa fan. Overall, 2015 was a good year too. I don't know where I'd rank it. I mean, definitely about 2014, but I don't think I'll put it before the years before that. For 2016, popular pick, we got Black Beatles and Work. I had to pick two songs for that year because Black Beatles was hype as fuck, Work was hype as fuck. It was no way I could just leave it as one or the other. It just didn't feel right. For personal pick, we got Facts by Kanye West, specifically the Charlie Heat version, which was on the album. And for underrated pick, we've got Man by Skepta, which is not really underrated in the UK per se. It's a UK trap, but underrated in the context of hip hop. And even still, it's a bit underrated because on the album, everyone preferred Shutdown, but Man, in my opinion, was superior. Which brings us to favorite album pick, which is Konnichiwa by Skepta. This was like huge for grime. Front to back, I could listen to every song on it. It's just, oh, I love it. For honorable mention albums, we got The Life of Pablo by Kanye. This gave us songs like Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, and then Part 2, which was really just Panda, but yeah. Real Friends, No More Parties in LA, 30 Hours, St. Pablo, definitely my second favorite album of the year. Then we got Views by Drake. This is kind of when Drake started to fall off. Like, not like the album was bad, but it wasn't classic Drake. You know, he had gotten stale at this point. But there was some hits on it. Like Hotline Bling was on it. Too Good was on there. Controller, You With Me was good. Then we got Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino, which had Redbone, Me and Your Mama, Riot. Overall great album. We got Gunmetal Grey by Quentin Miller, which had Make It Take It, Look What I Did, Bad Intention, Gunmetal Bapes, which, oh, Gunmetal Bapes, really deep song. We got Passion, Pain, and Demon Slain by Kid Cudi, which had songs like By Design and Releaser. 2088 by Big Sean and Jhené Aiko, which, I mean, I love the whole album, so I can't even list songs, like, just listen to that. We got For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole, which had songs like For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole, and Deja Vu, which is hype, and Immortal. You got Crashes Got Wings by Wedding Crashers, WD&G Crashers, which had You, Perfect Timing, a bunch of songs that I liked. And you had Starboy by The Weeknd, which, I mean, that was hype as fuck. You had Starboy by The Weeknd, and then you had Party Monster, which, oof, shit. Honorable mention songs, we got Panda by Designer. We got No Heart by 21 Savage, which was the first song I heard from 21 Savage, so he really felt like a savage when I saw that music video. We got Summer 16 by Drake and Sneaking by Drake, which was supposed to be on More Life, but they took it off. Well, they didn't put it on when the album came out. Well, it wasn't an album, it was a playlist. But either way, like, Sneaking was a hype song, which had 21 Savage on it as well. 2016 was a decent year. I mean, not as many songs outside of the albums I liked, but still, overall, it was a good year. I liked it. For 2017, popular pick, we got EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert. I feel like that's one of the songs that I'll definitely love to come back to years from now and just be like, yeah, that was a great song. Personal pick, I picked Coming Out Strong by Future and The Weeknd. And for underrated pick, I picked Bambi by Jidenna, which, yeah, that song is hella underrated. He's talking about how he loves a specific girl, but he's destined to be, you know, polyamorous or whatever, because, you know, that's what he was raised by and that's what his grandfather was doing, and he just can't be monogamous. But he doesn't want to see the girl that he loves, you know, settle down with someone else, so he can't take it. And, you know, it's a great song. For favorite album, we got Damn by Kendrick Lamar, which, oh god, that was heat. Every song. I'm not even listing songs. DNA, Humble. Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna list. The whole project is fire. That album, along with Gang Signs and Prayer by Stormzy, those two albums ran 2017 for me. That's also the first honorable mention, for the record. And that album, Gang Signs and Prayer, had songs like Mr. Skang, Cold, Lay Me Bare, Shut Up. You know, that was also a good project. If you're into like grime, then you probably already heard of it. You know, if you're trying to get into grime, then you should hear it. Other honorable mention albums, you got 17 by XXXTentacion, had Justin Flores, Save Me, Carry On, etc. We also got 444 by Jay-Z, which had 444 by Jay-Z. The Story of OJ, which probably the best song on the album lyrically. And Family Feud, which honestly, I prefer the mixtape version of Wayne and Drake, but still, the original song was good. We got 2 albums by Future, one titled Future and one titled Hendrix. You know, they released within like a week or so apart, which is where we got songs like Mask Off, POA, and Coming Out Strong, which I mentioned before. We got Falco by Quentin Miller, which had Surreal, Judge Dredd, Gambles, More Life by Drake, which had, you know, Fake Love, which I love that song, Do Not Disturb, another great one, and Glow, which was a song where he like kind of went back and forth with Kanye, and it was just, yeah, I love Drake and Kanye. Like when they collab, it's so great. It's a shame that they're beefing. We got I Decided by Big Sean, which had Bounce Back, Moves, Jump Out the Window, and Same Time Part 1. We got There's Really a Wolf by Russ, US Russ, because there's a UK Russ. And that had Act Now, The Stakeout, Don't Lie, Do It Myself. And then we got Big Fish Theory by Vince Staples. For honorable mention songs, we got Bodak Yellow by Cardi B, which is how we all found out about Cardi B. Bank Account by 21 Savage. Man's Not Hot, Big Shaq. It's Every Night Sis by Rice Gum and Alyssa Violet. Oh, that was probably my favorite like YouTube rapper track. Overall, 2017 was a great year for music, to be honest. Mainly because 2 albums that were so great came out that carried the whole shit. But even without factoring that in, there was still some good tracks. For 2018 popular pick, we got Mo Bamba by Sheck West, which, you know, that was a hype as fuck track, hype as fuck video. For personal pick, All Girls Are the Same by Juice WRLD, rest in peace. And for underrated pick, we got 1 Minute by XXXTentacion featuring Kanye West. Reason why is because Kanye spit one of his best verses in a while on that track, and I just feel like it needs to be highlighted. Combined with X's aggression and the whole instrumental, just an underrated song. And also a second underrated song will be Championships by Meek Mill. Amazing record. Like the instrumental is great, and lyrically what he's spitting about is just so fucking real. Like Meek is an underrated artist overall. Favorite album would have to be Goodbye and Good Riddance by Juice WRLD. This is not just some Because You Died shit. Like I was saying that before. You can check my tweets. It really grew on me. Like obviously you had Lucid Dreams, you had All Girls Are the Same, you had Lean With Me. But then there were so many other sleeper hits that I fell in love with, like Used To, Long Gone, Scared of Love. It's just overall a really solid project. Honorable mention albums, we've got Kids See Ghosts. Of course, I love that album too. Every song on that album is amazing, so especially Cardi Montage. We got Ye, which definitely was his weakest album, but you know, it was still good to listen to. You know, Yikes was on there, Ghost Town, Wouldn't Leave. You got Keep That Same Energy, or KTSE by Tiana Taylor, which had Gonna Love Me, Rose in Harlem. Scorpion by Drake, which, you know, that was huge. God's Plan, In My Feelings, Emotionless, Mob Ties, Nice For What. And my personal favorite song on the album, Don't Matter To Me, featuring Michael Jackson. We got Swimming by Mac Miller, which I'll admit, I didn't actually listen to this the moment it came out. I was supposed to, but it dropped around the exact same time as Astroworld, which is also another pick. So everyone was talking about Astroworld, so I listened to that instead. And I was going to go back and listen to Swimming, but I guess I got caught for time, and then when Mac died, I felt really bad, and I listened to it that day. But it's a very solid album. Favorite songs on that would be Self-Care, Ladders, Small Worlds, and 2009 would probably be my absolute favorite song on the album. And for Astroworld, obviously you would have picks like Sicko Mode, R.I.P. Screw, Stargazing. We also got Kyoto by Tyga, which was, the album did not perform well in terms of numbers at all, but I think it's highly underrated. I think people didn't like it because he was trying to sound too much like Drake or do some sensitive shit. People want Tyga, I guess, to do club bangers. But in my opinion, it was a very solid album. It had Temperature, it had You Cry, which I'm not even ashamed to say I love that song. It's such a simp song, but oh, I fucking love it. You got Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B, which had songs like Moneybag, Best Life, Bickenhead, Championships by Meek Mill, which had the song Championships by Meek Mill, Going Bad featuring Drake, and Trauma. We had Question Mark by XXX Tentacion, which had songs like Sad, Moonlight. And we had 3 projects this year by Quentin Miller, with one called QM, one called XX, one called No Thanks. Some songs I like from all of those: Values, Do You Have the Time, Looking Out. We had Queen by Nicki Minaj, which had songs like Chun Li, Barbie Dreams. We had KOD by J. Cole, which had songs like KOD by J. Cole, Photograph, ATM, Kevin's Heart. He had The Carter 5, which had Uproar, Took His Time, Mona Lisa. He had Zoo by Russ, which had the Flute song, and I can't even remember what else is on there, but we had a few decent songs. We had Kamikaze by Eminem, which actually released on my birthday, so that was kind of a decent birthday present to release an actual album that I liked by Eminem. Had Lucky You with Joyner, Fall, Stepping Stone, all hype tracks. We had My Dear Melancholy by The Weeknd, which was, I think, an EP, not actually an album, but it had Call Out My Name, and my personal favorite song on the album was Hurt You. For honorable mention songs, we got Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, Diplomatic Community by Drake, Duppy Freestyle by Drake, The Story of Adidon by Pusha T, naturally, Rap Devil by Machine Gun Kelly, Kill Shot by Eminem, Die Young by Roddy Ricch, which is how I first found out about him. And overall, 2018 was a pretty great year for music, I think. It was definitely one of the stronger years of the decade. But now it's time to get to the last year of the decade, obviously 2019. And for popular pick, I picked Old Town Road Remix. Now, you're probably thinking, you mentioned Old Town Road before. Yes, that was the original song, which actually came out around the time Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. But the remix came out in 2019 with Billy Ray Cyrus, and that was clearly the most popular version. So that's the popular pick. I mean, I love the song. I put it on repeat. I did a parody of it, you know. For personal pick, we got Bullet From a Gun by Skepta. I pretty much played that song like 50 times last year, probably more than that. I learned all the lyrics without even trying, just kept playing it. For underrated pick, we got Napoleon Hill by Harry Mack, who is a truly underrated artist who is doing kind of like that boom bap 90s style music. And my favorite album of the year was Ignorance is Bliss by Skepta. Has songs like Same Old Story, Grease Mode, Going Through It, Gangsta. So many great picks on that. Honorable mention albums would be Psychodrama by Dave, or Santan Dave, which had songs like Black, Stratton. Hotel Diablo by Machine Gun Kelly, which had songs like I Think I'm Okay, Candy. Death Race for Love by Juice WRLD had Empty, which, oh my god, that's one of Juice WRLD's best songs. And Robbery as well. We had Voice Memos by Quadeca, shout out Quadeca. That had Imagination, Ego Death, very solid project. You got Over It by Summer Walker, which I can't even list one song that was on that album, but I played it in full. And as a collective, like, you know, you've got those like albums where it's not like an individual song that you listen to, but together it's just a great thing to listen to. That's one of those albums. You got Walk With Me by Rotimi, which had songs like Decisions and Love Rhythm. New Age by KSI and Randolph, which had Red Alert, Pull Up, Roll the Dice, Beerus. 7 EP by Lil Nas X, which had Panini, Closure, and Rodeo without Cardi B, which, you know, it technically did have Cardi B, but I found some guy edited a version without Cardi B because she really didn't feel on that track, real talk, so it was better without her. And then we have Heavy Is the Head by Stormzy, which has tracks like Vossi Bop, Rachel's Little Brother, Do Better, 1 Second, Wiley Flow, Lessons. And for honorable mention songs, we got Ballin' by Roddy Ricch, Earthquake by Tyler the Creator, Sounds of the Skeng by Stormzy, which I don't know why he left that off his album, because it was the best song he dropped the whole year, War by Drake, and finally, Futsal Shuffle 2020 by Lil Uzi Vert, which was really hype with a song. Came out towards the end of the year, and he had these Nardwuar samples in there, which, if you know Nardwuar, is like the greatest interview of musicians ever, so, you know. Overall, 2019 was probably another dead year for music. Not to say that the year was bad. I'm just saying within the context of the decade, 2014 and 2019 were the slowest years or the weakest years of like, I guess, quality and quantity combined. You know, there was a lot of good things that came out, but just compared to other years, you know, it could have been better. But as a decade, I mean, I think in 2010s was a very solid decade of music. You know, sometimes I hear a lot of tracks that I don't like, and I think, oh, music is getting shit now. But in reality, it's like, nah, like when you list the stuff that's coming out that you like, there's still a ton of things that were coming out that I liked. I mean, I was really coming of age still when the decade started, because I started the decade at 14, going on 15, and you know, they say that 14 is like the prime age of like digesting music. So around that age, so yeah, a lot of good music came out of this decade. So much that I've been recording for an hour and 45 minutes, and I really don't know how much I'm gonna edit this down to. Now that I've done this, I'm probably going to change it up and do these every year so that I can not only like make the video shorter, but spend more time on individual songs and albums. So I really had a lot of stories to tell and a lot of memories of certain songs that would have been nice to add, but with the amount of content I had to add to this video, I just wouldn't have been able to do it, you know. So we're just gonna leave it like that. Artist of the decade, I'd have to say is clearly Drake. He's just the most consistent. He started just before the decade began, and then he just came through the decade dropping like platinum albums and #1 hits. And it's just, you know, if you had asked me back in like 2012, I probably would have said Kanye, to be honest. But he kind of is now no longer in his prime, because he started before Drake, so obviously he's gonna fall off before Drake as well. So it is what it is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what picks you agree with, which ones you disagree with, which songs I may have left out, which albums I may have left out. I know this list is very hip-hop focused, but you know, that's mainly what I listen to. I have other things I listen to as well, and there's some R&B stuff in there, there's some pop stuff in there, you know. But overall, this is how I guess experienced that decade of music, and hopefully at the end of this year I'll be able to do a nice roundup as well of things that I liked. And if you guys like this series, I'll definitely do more of it, because there's a few other things I want to do, because there's an artist that I didn't mention for this whole video who really deserves to be in the video, but was too consistent that I feel like they deserved a separate video, and I need to do a video on that soon. So make sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. But it's your boy REMreCAPS, Rem Gang, and I'm out.